Greetings, my friends. It is Wednesday, the 2nd of June. And I woke up this morning. Yes, folks, I'm still here, trapped in La La Land, some strange, weird dimension. And I'm sure a lot of you out there feel like that. Nevertheless, because we're stuck here, and we have to start thinking. And you don't need a crystal ball to peek into the future when simple common sense will do. And when you do look ahead of this never-ending lockdown situation, even a child can see the agenda unravelling, because that's the intelligence level that adults are being subjected to. And we've said that before, a lot of adults are thinking like children. And I know, I'm as baffled as you are as to why the public, majority and sheeple of the world still haven't cottoned on. Now don't get me wrong, I'm all for free speech like you are. Free speech and expression, as long as it's on equal terms. There's two sides to an argument, end of. There's two sides to everything in life. That is one of the principles of life. There's a positive and a negative, a black and a white, a beginning and an end, like day and night, cold and hot. That is the essence of life. We all have a choice. And that's not the way it is. Because when one side isn't represented in the scumbag media, then we have to make ourselves heard until we are silenced. And especially when their ignorance of other people begins to affect us, our lives. Now ignorance, that's a strange thing, isn't it? See, for most of my time passing through what we call life, I've always tried to awaken ignorance by using knowledge and evidence and facts. And it's always worked until we hit this strange world that we're in now. So it doesn't work on anyone, because the very essence of ignorance not only means lack of knowledge, but not wanting to learn knowledge. And that's when ignorance gets called stupid. And you can't fix stupid, as you know. You can't fix something that's broken too badly. You can repair, but some things are beyond repair. In which case, when the person's like that, they stagnate, they don't move on. And that manifests into all kinds of problems in their life, because they begin to reject almost everything that eventually trickles down to them until it makes undeniable sense. And that process can take a very, very long time. However, that's not quite true anymore, because ignorance has descended into a kind of denial and false belief. And that's not good for us or the people who are ignorant either. It's not good for anyone. You know yourself, right? Self-denial. And we all know people who are in denial right now. We know them. They're in our families, amongst our friends, our acquaintances. Self-denial is a dangerous mental state to dally about with. But when you have false belief, when you add that to the conundrum of ignorance, then you're in dangerous lands, my friend. You're in a dangerous land of limbo, a twilight zone. Now, it's been 6 months, guys, 6 months of restrictions. And for some countries like Argentina, as my friend over there told us, it's been a hell of a lot longer. Yet the majority of people who've fallen for the narrative and think they know everything can't even face the fact that they have been breadcrumbed every step of the way for a year and a half with no end in sight. And as I've said before, any naysayers, just go into a search engine, Rebel Moon Podcast, and you'll find it on the Podbean site, and there's lots of free stuff there that you can, just prove that we've been talking about this for quite a long time. It's just that now we're in this moment in time in the future talking about what we knew back then. It's quite interesting if you get into it. But it's a year and a half, guys, and they've been breadcrumbed, and we have named every single breadcrumb, haven't we? We have said every single breadcrumb is not going to do this, it's going to be extended till such a date, then when it comes, it's going to be such a date, right up to Christmas. Then I told you it's going to go in 2021 and 2022 if people don't wake the feck up. No end in sight. And it's fucking amazing. A complete enigma, but it's been fucking amazing, fascinating, and indeed gobsmacking to watch and witness what we've seen over the past 15 to 16 months. And that being how so-called fully developed adults we're talking about here can be strung along like a child or a dumb animal with the same old bait and same old tactics time and time again. Hey, once bitten, twice shy. Never heard of that? Here's a better one that they should say to governments. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, hey, you might as well give me a rope, because I'm a useless piece of crap called a human being. I am not even human. It's getting ridiculous, and I'm sick of these sorts. I'm sick of them. Hey guys, listen, even little critters that you trap in forests, even they recognise a trap when they see it. They know it's dangerous, just like some fish why you can't catch them. They've been caught before, escaped, they know what a hook and a worm looks like. They're not daft enough to go and bite at it again. And they're supposed to be at the bottom of the food chain. They know it's dangerous. Avoid it. Give it a body swerve. Give it a wide berth. So to say that humans are top of the food chain is slowly turning into fallacy. I mean, I suppose we should say there are dumb animals and smart animals, but that includes humans too. Anyway, let's dip our toes in to prove a point that we are not rambling, that we are just expressing what we know, what we feel, and so forth. No media, no government talking head, no pseudo-expert scientist has managed to convince us otherwise. We're quite intelligent, we're not stupid. We know how to, get information and process it, and then we decide. And everybody decides on different things. That's the way life works. Not everybody agrees with everyone, Even I don't care if you're in a partnership for 40 years or whatever. There are going to be times when you disagree on certain things. But anyway, look, it will come to pass. What we learn today is going to take them many, many moons to understand. So they're going to find out the hard way. That is their problem, but that is their choice. If they're not willing to get information and process it properly, instead of just saying, that's it, okay, I believe it, without even thinking about it, then hey, that's their prerogative, leave them. Like I said, don't go flogging a dead horse. Those days have gone, especially for me, right? But these kind of people will not know. They won't know what the score is until it hits them out of the blue and sends them spinning right back to square one, as I'm going to explain. And it's a shame because the way to halt a hidden government agenda is to inform and educate those people who can't see what's going on because of lack of information, proper information I'm talking about, and too much disinformation through the media, which is basically not media, it's a propaganda machine, as you know. But before we can do that, guys, we have to have something to show them. If you can show them, it's a lot more effective. And you do that by way of what's already passed, if you get my drift. For instance, right, last year, or was it 2019, guys? I don't know. It was last year, beginning of last year. I did a podcast called The Forever Virus. Like I said, you go Podbean, check it out. It was called The Forever Virus. And I reckon it's time to update that with a new title, as I'm going to explain. You see, once upon a time, in a place not too far away, China, actually, or so we are led to believe, because there are other rumours. But this mystery virus escaped from a lab that was experimenting with cures for diseases. Arf, arf. But some say it was biological warfare that they were experimenting on, but not against armies. This was to be used against what they call useless eaters in order to save the planet. You know, the thing, there's too many people and not enough resources to go around. Now, the idea was to ensure the survival of the human species, because all the useless eaters, like I said, there's too many of them, and it's going on to 8 billion, and they reckon when we get to 8 billion, we've passed the point of no return, so we have to get rid of people. Now, that's weird, isn't it? Because China, who are getting blamed for all this, well, got blamed for it, it's other people now, but they had this one-child thing to keep their the population under control, because as you know, it was out of control. And now they've lifted that to 2. And I believe what I heard last week, they've lifted it to 3. So the Chinese can have 3 children, because apparently they've not been breeding like before. And it's funny this, you're finding this in a lot of places as well. People are not having like 6 and 10 kids anymore. You know, they'll go 2 or 1. Because, well, it's just too expensive and too hard. In times like this, a lot of people are putting off having kids until things settle down. Who can blame them? You don't want your kid to be born in this kind of Babylon, what's going on now, do you? But that's in their crazy head. Too many people, we're all using up valuable, limited natural resources and so on, even though it's their corporations that are raping the planet. Right? But that's a silly conspiracy, right? It's a silly conspiracy theory. Until you read the Agenda 21 information, which is freely available all over the damn internet. Because the God Kings of Earth really don't give a monkey's what you think. Or knowing what they're up to. They're basically telling you in your face. They're doing it. They're not talking about it anymore. They're doing it. You know, like we were told many decades ago, there will be a new world order whether people like it or not. And I'm going to be more precise here. I'll tell you where that came from. It was said on February the 17th, way back in 1950. And one of the so-called elite bankers at the time, his name was James Paul Warburg. Right, we spoke about him before. I think he was Daddy Starbucks or something in Annie or whatever, based on him. But James Warburg, confidently declared to a United States Senate we're talking about here, not to some media hack, this is to the United States Senate. And it was like he was telling them. He said, we shall have a world government, whether or not we like it. The only question is whether world government will be achieved by conquest or consent. Now, it never was, because as we know, the New World Order, people got to find out what do they mean by that, realised it's basically communism, it's back to communism, it's back to the old medieval feudal system, as I've explained before. But that's what he said, conquest or consent, meaning you like it. If you don't agree to it, then we're going to force you into it. End of. Have a look around you now, my friends. What do you see? What do you see happening around you now? You see, here we are, 71 years later, after that guy said that, with one foot firmly planted in that agenda, and nothing has changed except the name. And like I just said, the name had to be changed because people started cottoning on to what this New World Order actually meant. So they give it a more user-friendly name now, like Global Reset. Oh, we're gonna global reset. We're gonna crash everything, and we're gonna reset it, and we're gonna build it back better. You'll hear that. You'll hear a lot of politicians saying that. We'll build back better. I've heard Clinton saying it. We'll build back better. I've heard all these movers and shakers. We'll build back better. You've probably heard your own prime ministers or chancellors or whoever, leaders, saying the same thing. And you know where all that comes? The World Economic Forum. That is the thing, we'll build back better. So they want to build this new system because their old system's collapsing. But when they build it back, it's going to be more oppressive for us. It's more to suit them and not us. So it's called a global reset, and they're trying to kind of like dress it up a little bit and sugarcoat it, but when you look at it, it's exactly the same thing. It's just a new world order, basically, under a different name. Now, here's the deal. We've reached an impasse because it seems far too many people have chosen not to fall into the narrative and they're refusing the jab. And when that happens, the fear-mongering has to be stepped up, and that's what we're seeing now. You're going to see British TV. I mean, like I said, I don't have the TV on per se these days. I'll just switch it on morning to see what they're going on about. But it's just some people I just cannot stand aside when they physically make me feel nauseated. I cannot stand them. So, like I said, I'll just go on the internet and get it off there. But you can see it's on there as well. It's been stepped up everywhere. Now, this is the final step. This is what they're up to. The final step before mandatory vaccinations are made into law. And the powers that be know darn well that such a move could backfire and destroy the whole shebang, including them. Because I think the numbers refusing the jab are a lot more than they're saying. Because you just can't believe, like, it's somebody who lies and lies and lies, even when they tell the truth, you can't believe them because you don't know whether they're telling the truth or whether it's just another lie. They are, however, trying to jab everyone by sneaking them in through the back door, as you know, by introducing these COVID passports with a lot of people. Big demonstrations again in London at the weekend, all over Europe actually, just against that. It's not just against lockdowns, it's about passports and everything. Because I'm going to reiterate something, right? So that's what they're doing. If you don't have this passport, they're talking about you can't go to venues, you can't go on holiday abroad, and they're talking about you cannot even go to a supermarket if you don't have one of these. Now you tell me if that's freedom. That is not. That is not. That's the Fourth Reich, my friends. Worse. It's a gulag. It's George Orwell. It wasn't a book, that. It was a damn prediction. And they're doing it. That's probably what they got the idea from. But I reiterate, as the British law stands now for you Brits, the government can't force vaccination, so don't listen to this claptrap on TV. They can't do it. It's illegal. But across the pond, as in some other countries, like the US government, for instance, can legally enforce them by law because it's there written into law. And as for the EU, well, seeing as it's run like a socialist state and exposing itself as such, I reckon they'd introduce mandatory jabs in a heartbeat if they have to. But at the moment, it seems like all the supply chain's fecked up, which is another little thing that you ought to think about as well. Who's screwing that up and for what reason? And people are not dropping like flies, are they? Right? But anyway, thankfully, the EU mafia in Brussels, they're far too busy fighting for their own survival just now and trying to justify the useless jobs and positions. And, of course, the gravy train that they continually parasite off like little leeches. Now, meanwhile, my friends, how do we tell the blinkered and brainwashed masses what to expect if they carry on insisting the blind being led by the blind? How do we do that? You see, this story which began in China, right, and we all blame China, and I know a lot of Chinese communities got it in different countries. They blame them. That's what happens, you see. People are ignorant. They blame the people, not the government that started it. The Chinese government, nothing to do with the Chinese people, no more than the British are to the British people. The governments, and they need reining in fast. I'll say it again. A government should fear its people. People should not fear its government. They allegedly elect them in. They don't do, but they think they do. But they still have the power to remove them. And that is coming. But this, let's just get the story right so we know where we are. This Chinese thing morphed into then a South African variant in Britain. It turned up in Britain. Now bear with me here, because you know damn well it descends into a farcical circus, so don't shoot the messenger, right? But what happened then? Britain and South Africa, first of all, we don't really have all that much in common culturally, but it landed here anyways. And then across the channel in Euroland, it morphed into the British variant, although it was allegedly came from South Africa. So they started calling it the British South African variant. That's what I said, it descends into a circus. Now, there's nothing surprising there then, because we know beyond any shadow of a doubt that the European Union and the Euros, they blame the Brits for all their wars these days, and they hate us with a vengeance. Meanwhile, the only tears that are shed across the English Channel are happy ones. We shall be even happier once we've truly isolated Europe. Or should I say isolate any countries who remain in the remnants of the EU after others have woke up to the fact what the European Union really is. Now forget that Britain, we joined a common market, there was no government then. Now they've turned it into a European government illegally. It was nothing, it was about trade at first. And now, like I said, they've made this whole government and somehow took all over Europe, based in Brussels, with people who have no qualifications in politics or anything else. They just picked for the characteristics, which, as you know, it means they're not right in the head. But all that aside, right, they will wake up to the fact that the blueprint for the New World Order is Europe. That's what Europe is all about. Under one currency, one government, one unofficial, unelected government, by the way. It's there. I don't know why people call it conspiracy theory when it's right there in front of you. You know, but it is a blueprint for the New World Order, or global reset as they call it today. But nevertheless, you see, these restrictions were enforced on both sides of the English Channel, and just as people prepared as well for the promised freedom, not enough folk had taken the jab. Strange, and mostly because of the many side effects and suspected fatalities that have been spread around by the media and so on. Not the people, it was the media that did this, but they always blamed the people. And then like a ghost it came, didn't it, guys? Like a ghost. Yes, folks. It was the Indian variant now that struck Britain. I don't know what happened to the South African one. Maybe it moved back to South Africa. Maybe it was deported, but I doubt it, because we don't deport bugger all in Britain. Come on over, everybody, you're all right. Jump in, go and get free money, get free house. Come on, you're all right. We don't boycott anybody or anything, so stop calling us racist. Jump in a dinghy in France, sail across the channel, and we will look after you. You don't have to risk it right across the channel, by the way. The Royal Navy Taxi Service will come and pick you up and get you back safely, put you in a nice hotel, give you a phone with plenty of credit on, give you spending money, and give you clothes, and then you can go and call your friends and get them over. Come on, we've still got room for a couple more. You know, I tell you, we're in a different reality, guys. We've been sucked in to some kind of strange dimension, and if we don't think that way, we'll crack up. Or, if it's not true, then we've got to admit that the world has really gone mad. I know we say the world's gone mad, we've said it for a long time, even our ancestors said it, but this one is for real. Anyway, this Indian variant now struck Britain. Yes, folks, let's call it what it is, shall we? It's a convenient coincidence. Get it? Coincidence that is very convenient. Now, just as the circus clowns in London promised freedom on June the 21st, the Indian variant has now cast a shadow over the promise. But you knew that as soon as it come in. You knew what we were up 2 weeks ago. And now it's all coming out on TV, isn't it? They're talking about delaying it, as we said last time. Just get used to that, guys. Like I said, we say you talk about it here first and then just wait for it to unfold. It's the rules are dead easy. Now, it's not that any of us fell for this, people who gather in places like this, but we can see what the suits are up to. Now, let me explain what a convenient coincidence is. It's basically what it says on the side of the tin. It's something suspiciously coincidental, but at the same time extremely convenient for the establishment because it fits perfectly into their unpopular agendas, the ones they try and sneak through. Now, as we know, we have a huge Asian Indian community in the UK. We've got a huge Chinese community, a huge African community, and so on. But we're still classed as racist, if you believe that kind of claptrap, so go figure. But nevertheless, I'm mentioning them because you've got them to come yet. You're going to get an African. We've had a South African variant. We're going to get an African variant sooner or later. We've already done the Chinese, get the Indian. You just watch them all these variants because that's what this is about. Now, again, you see, across the pond in America, they have similar communities. And in this case, they have a lot of Vietnamese, like we have a lot of Asians. So is it a coincidence that one of my buddies across the pond just this morning sent me a heads up that America now has a Vietnamese variant? Wow, who would have thought it, eh? So you haven't got your Mexican variant yet, guys, have you not? Well, don't worry, it's coming. Now then, look, we have a long list of variants, and I mean hell of a long list to go through yet. This is only the beginning. This is the beginning of the game, the beginning of the new phase, right? Because they have to keep us the illusion going until 2025 or beyond. And that all depends on when every man, woman and child has been vaccinated, which is, again, suspicious, as you'll see further down about herd immunity. Now, let's face it, guys, right? We have another 190 variants to go yet. I'm not kidding you. Think about it. 190. Where do we get that from? Well, there are 193 recognised countries in the world. There's actually 195, but one's the Holy See, the Vatican, the other's Palestine. They're not recognised. But recognised countries, there's 193. So if each country have a variant, can you say how long they can keep it? Which is the most ridiculous gobbledygook I've ever heard, right? But come on, some of the stuff we've seen now, they're trying it, we're looking at it, we're thinking, my God, I mean, this is the most ridiculous gobbledygook I've ever heard. And trust me, I've heard some gibberish drivel being spewed out by these dregs of humanity in my time, let me tell you. But this takes a bloody cake. It's not the bullshit they're coming out with. It's the way some people are swallowing it and taking the bait. That's the part I don't understand. Like I said, it's not the drivel per se, but it's how stupid are people not to even question it when all these variants are the bloody same thing. Or are they? Is it COVID-19 or is it something else now? We don't understand. You see, they can't even get their own bloody narrative right. They're all backstabbing each other now. That's why all this thing's going to crash. But we have to let people know what they almost stepped into. You see, the thing is, these viruses are just being relabelled to dis and destroy the chosen country. It's the same thing now with this holiday travel. If you're travelling from Britain, 46 of 40 odd countries are on the no-go list. And it's all political. It's all political. Because some of those countries don't even have anything. They've never even seen it. See what I mean? It's all political. Politicians are destroying this planet. They need to be reined in fast. So that's what they're doing. Relabelling this. So everyone's going to have their own variant. So if it's not the same bug, right? Let's say it's not the same bug. Let's say that it's not all media bullshit. If it's not the same bug, then the establishment has to come clean and admit it is a man-made disease and not a natural one after all, that it was made in a lab and that it did escape, be it by accident or purpose, doesn't matter. But you can't have all these variants is COVID-19. What do they mean, the Indian variant? And it's bullshit, you see, because go back to the South African variant in Britain, which months ago. That was the dry run for introducing the Indian variant, because they know we've got a big Indian community. And by all this, have you seen the headline where millions of people have been coming into Britain anyway, flying into Britain since they started? It's never stopped. They're still letting them through it into the country. So it's a load of bullshit, isn't it? Right? But the South African variant, you see, it could spread faster among the young ones. Do you remember that? It can spread faster among the young ones. Here, talking about age groups where their immune system will kick the holy shit out of this virus. Unless, of course, it's not an ordinary natural virus from nature. But now, forget that. That was the dry one a couple of months ago, beginning of the year. And now, a few months later, we get the Indian variant. And guess what? That can spread faster as well, according to the pseudo-scientists who are currently calling the shots of our government around the world. And it's funny, only the other day they were saying we had a day where not one person died of the COVIDs. Not one person. So, hey, near lockdown, we've nearly made it. But suddenly, you're seeing it now, what we talked about a few days ago, weeks ago actually, months ago. On the other side is that now they're bringing it in. They're going to try and cancel this June. And this is going to be the end. This is going to be the big turning point for the governments. They've done bloody well. And I'll hold my hand up. I did not believe in a million years they would get this far, my friends. I really didn't believe they would get this far, but they have done. Anyway, like I said, if it can indeed keep morphing into different and more potent strains, and let's face it, it's the end of the human race. Come on, let's play the same game. Let's play them back at the game. What they're saying, it's the end of the human race, end of story, and good night Vienna. In which case, it's going to wipe us all out, even before each of the 193 countries and variants of those countries as its own dedicated strain. We're going to be long gone by then. So we'll leave all this propaganda bullshit, I mean latest information, until the next damn strain comes along in our individual countries. So it can be used as another endless line of excuses to keep the world in lockdown. And they're doing that until we've all had the jab. Or so they think in their crazy, insane minds. Don't think that somebody wears a bloody $1,000 suit or $2,000 suit is some kind of intelligent person. You can take somebody out of a straitjacket and dress them up in one of them suits and they'll look respectable. You won't even know they're crazy. But now we don't even have to do that. We know, we can see it with some of the gobbledygook that they're coming out with and contradictions. Right? But that's it. That's what they're doing. Keep us in. They're going to keep this going forever and ever. Amen. You see, what we talked about and got dissed about for a long time is now being pushed by the same media who dissed us. Talk about hypocrisy. They were telling us, shut up, this isn't true, and you're spreading disinformation, and now they're repeating exactly what we've said because they can't hide it anymore. That's the only time that the media report stuff when they can't get away with hiding it because it's already out in the public domain. And then they've got to be seen as doing the job by reporting it. Now, there's another government talking head just yesterday, guys, who verified everything we've said in advance. He said that there will be no end to lockdowns until everybody has had the jab. And we knew that. I mean, it's there. You know, we've known it. It's been a long time. Last year, we was talking about that. A year later now, they started trickling in that scare tactics. And that's going to turn people against people. It's going to be turning those who've had the jab against those who haven't had the jab. And then they'll start playing the blame game. Well, you know, I'll tell you what, if that's it, they're going to wait till everybody's been jabbed. Our response is simply this, and I'm going to say this on behalf of millions and millions and millions and millions of us, right? You're going to have a bloody long wait, my friends. You are going to have a long, long way, because millions of us have no intention whatsoever of getting that fucking thing stuck into our arm. Not in a million years. Not on something that has been conjured up allegedly in a few months, when it takes 5 years minimum to test a drug, but mainly it's 10 years. Right? I mean, look, guys, I'm knocking on a little bit, as you know. I'm pushing 23 now. Arf, arf. But no, I'm knocking on. And based on, let's just say, 2 flu seasons a year, which is 3 and sometimes 4 some years, but let's just base it on 2, benefit of the doubt. That means that I've survived way over 120 outbreaks of flu, including the so-called deadly ones as well. And I have never, ever had a job. I have caught flu, but I let my body destroy it. 2-3 days, you're up and about. Gag load of water, just eat proper, loads of water, and you'll be up and about in 3 days, 2-3 days. Except one strain once that decked me for about a week when I was up in the Highlands. That was a bad one, but everybody will remember that. A lot worse than this one anyway. Because, people are taking jabs, they've not had flu, they've not been ill yet. This is what I don't get. But anyway, the fact is, at the end of the day, my sovereign right to decide if I want to risk it. And if I'm wrong, I die. Right? Simple, isn't it? Simple as simple is. And I don't see why those who've taken the jab and even taken the second one keep cajoling and blaming the rest of us. What's that all about? Well, that's the way it's designed, to turn person against person. Now, I'm not castigating or lecturing them. Why have you took it and you shouldn't have took it and that? You know what I mean? It's, that's it. So it's up to you. Right? We're not lecturing them, therefore, I would request that they do the same with us and give us the same respect and stop going on. Keep your mouth shut, because this is going to lead to problem. People are getting sick of it, and this is going to start turning into scuffles and fights in public. While they keep blaming us for extended lockdowns, that's what they're doing. I've already stopped a few people right in the tracks before they even get onto that. And they know by looking at my eyes I'm dead serious. Tell them, back off. Don't even go there with me. Don't you start saying that bullshit with me, that it's my fecking fault that you can't go on holiday, you little shitheads. Jesus Christ. I'll tell you, this is gonna blow up. They better start keeping the fecking gob shut. We are not bothering them, they shouldn't bother us, but the media is cajoling them to do that. But here's the deal, while they keep blaming us for extended lockdowns, I will indeed take the piss out of their ignorance, which I have every right to do. If they want to have a do at me, then I'm going to have a do back. I'm not going to stand there and take anybody's bullshit. I've got a mouth, I've got a tongue, and I can back myself up. End of story. Who the feck do these think the people? They're all experts all of a sudden. These dumbasses. But they better stop this blaming us for extended lockdowns. Right? They better stop. If they don't, well, they will do, don't worry, because you'll see them, it'll be on the news. People will start getting smacked in the mouth. If they go down to one of these anti-vax demonstrations with thousands and thousands of people over the weekend in London and other cities around the world, if they go down there and start gobbing off, they're going to get decked. They're going to get their teeth kicked in. End of story. And if they think people like us here are going to walk quietly into the dark without a murmur, then there's the proof that something has made them more stupid than they was before they took the jab. I mean, it's a joke, guys, right? It's a joke. They have the jab, and some have had their second jab. Good little citizens, right? For all the power to you. All the power to you. You're safe now, you can't catch it. So, fermez la bouche. Shut your fucking little mouth. Fair enough. It's their sovereign right to decide. Let them have it. That's okay. It's nothing to do with you. And everybody has a body, right? Everybody has a body. and a mind, and that is your right. You are born with that on earth. It doesn't even have a name. Your parents give you a fucking name. That's your straw man name. You don't even have a name. But this is your body. You're passing through here, and nobody has any right to tell you what to put in that body, whether it's by a needle or whether it's orally through your mouth. Nobody has any right to tell you what to do and how to act. Right? But like I said, if this job is effective, what are they worried about? What is wrong with them? Why have they started kicking off all of a sudden? It's because they can't go abroad. That's what it is. Spoilt little brats. You know, hey, they can't catch it because allegedly they are immune, right? So what is the problem? They should be picking a fight with the government, not us. After all, we didn't promise them that they could return to normal if they took a jab, did we? We didn't make those promises. In fact, I mentioned the opposite. You know, it's not going to do any difference whether you take it or not. That is not the agenda. The whole agenda at the end of the day is the global reset. It's to get everybody. This is a big force of communism. This is like the Fourth Reich. And people are taking the job because they're scared. And I'm sure a lot of those people didn't really want to take it anyway. But sometimes, you know, like self-satisfaction, oh, I'll be able to go on holiday, I'll be able to go to Spain. We laughed back then and said, no, you won't. And here we are, fast forward. And now, yeah, they're still mourning. They can go to Spain, but they've got to do all this when they get back and what have you. It's absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, they're taking all their anger and frustration out of us. There's a programme on TV now called the Anti-Vaccine Conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. It's just people who say, no, I don't want a fucking jab, thank you very much. I've never had a flu jab in my life. What do I want one more for? It's absolutely bullshit. Right? So them people, tell them next time, hey, don't blame me. Okay? Right? Get onto your government and all your media gobshites. They were the one that made you the promises and broke them, not us. In fact, we told you they were going to break them in advance. So, wise up. Go and get your head seen to. You see, now they've complied, it's beginning to dawn on them, you see. This is where a lot of the frustration's coming from now, because they don't like to admit that they're wrong. Beginning to dawn on them that the suits in London have no intention of keeping their part of the deal. Same in Europe, same in America, same in Australia, same in Canada, wherever else you got restrictions. They have no intentions. What's going to happen is they will be forced to step down within the coming weeks. You watch. You watch. And that's when you're going to see the first ripple of a proper awakening. Because now the more they push, the more people are going to start standing up against it. And it does not take a genius to figure out that the same will apply even if everybody in the world had a jab. It'd still be the same. The global reset will still come. They'll still give you the climate change bullshit, which is being driven by the sun. And they think, and this is what I do not get, this is why I know I am in a different dimension from the normal world I come from. Okay? Where do they get this? How do climate taxes convince nature to behave itself? How? This is how stupid people are. They have lost the ability to think for themselves. They just listen to it and repeat it like little parrots. It's ridiculous. And it's the same now with this, you know, the COVIDs and shit like that. How's that going to stop something? It's absolutely ridiculous. And where's all the other flu? I mentioned flu seasons before. 2, 3, sometimes 4 we get in Britain every year. Where have they all gone? We've had 1.5 years now. We've not had one single case of flu. It's all been COVIDs. So has this destroyed all the coronavirus family now? What the fuck is it? You know what I mean? You've got to play them at your own game. And that's what people should do. They should say to the government, no, wait a minute, you said that. What do you mean by saying this now? You know, it's mad. It's likewise, right? How many times have we been told that face masks are not effective against any airborne diseases? Hence why I have never worn one from day one. And indeed, They're not designed. What I have, the little microfiber shoulder, I pull it over my mouth so I can still breathe through my nose just to shut people up. End of story. And that's off even when I'm, bagging up. I already take it off. Now, there you go, right? They are now coming out. They're not think. I mean, this is not new. They're just pushing it out like it's some new revelation. We were seeing this bloody over a year ago. Because it's on the World Health Organization site. It's on the the Centre for Control of Diseases site. It's there. They're not doing it. They're not designed for prolonged use. It basically is to stop spittle from the nurse or the doctor going into a wound. You can see them how they bag it up the sides and everything, okay? But they're not designed for prolonged use because breathing back in the toxins that your body is trying to expel can damage your health. And it's all there on the websites. The World Health Organization are behind this. So why are governments pushing the opposite agenda? And yet our governments, I'll tell you why, because they have all made deals, they're all making money and they want to continue selling this shit. A lot of the masks that are on the market now are probably from China because they're brought in by these bloody politicians who are all coining in on it. Oh, laugh, sue me, they can sue me if they want, but they won't sue me because they know damn well it's true. They're all getting backhanders, it's all coming out. Boris, Matt Poppycock, whatever his name was, he's been caught red-handed. And I want to know what's happened because he has been charged for it, I believe. He's been charged for something and then it's all been blacked out by the press. But we do know that he handed a contract to his family for one of them PPC contract things and they have no thing. So what they're doing, they're buying these things off Alibaba and selling them to us to keep the luxury lifestyles going. It's absolutely disgrace. But our governments tell you now they have every intention of making masking and social distancing permanent. And they haven't been shy about hitting on that one, have they? So before I go, my friends, think on this, right? The runes of destiny have been cast. Will the new, forever new variant scam gather enough momentum to mentally break enough people to convince the entire population to get a jab? Now I'll answer that for you. Not in 10 million years, my friends. Not in 10 million years. Those who've already been immunised are beginning to get up my nose because they're getting angry now and blaming us. And they're getting angry as to why they still can't travel after they were promised they could. And now they're blaming us. It's because of us that they can't travel. Where does that come in common sense? Where does that figure in anything? I can't figure it out. They're blaming us. It's your frigging government closing you down. And you can travel. You can travel, if they want to. Just that they're going to have to pay £100 per person to get a test. And then they're going to have to isolate when they come back if they go to their own places. Some of them are saying, I'm not going to isolate. Then they should stop them at the airport and say, no, you can't go abroad then. They're up there on TV shouting their mouth off and on the internet. I'm not fucking doing that. All right then. Don't let them go to them countries, send them back home. End of story. But in other words, because that's what we're going to do now. If they want to blame us, then we blame them when they come back, this new variant, and they go, yeah, it's all these people, and they're going to say, no, you're the spoilt ones. You're the spoilt ones. You're the ones that are going abroad and bringing this crap back. You know what I mean? Even though we don't believe it, we've still got to play them at their own game with what they think and believe. You've got to turn it back at them. That's how you beat them every single time. You catch them with their own bullshit. Right? So, let's wrap up. They've all complied with every whim of the establishment. Now they find themselves no more nearer freedom than the rest of us. And with threats that this June the 21st might not happen after all. They're trying to push it another 2 weeks. Remember the rolling lockdowns? And, it's only for 2 weeks, then 3 weeks. And then, we have to do it again. We have to extend it another 2 weeks. And then it went on to the months, and then 3 months, and then 6 months. We've been there. We've done it. We've predicted every single step of the way without missing a beat. And we're telling you this is exactly what they're doing now. Like I said last time, you don't have to be a crystal. You don't need a crystal ball. You don't need to be a genius and expert in anything. Just go back to this time last year, right? Go on the internet, have a look what we're at this time of the year. Take it from there, and you'll see exactly the same thing happening now. Back to square one. Snakes and ladders, chutes and ladders, as you call it, over the pond in America. That's where we are. You know, a big snake right near number 99. You know, you're near the 100 square and you land on that bugger. Is it square 98 or something? That big snake, and it slides you right back to square one. You've been winning all the way, then suddenly you're there, and then somebody else wins it because you can't catch up. That is destiny. That's the way the game unfolds, and that's exactly what this program is now. It keeps sending us back to square one to start the year again, because they think, well, it's been a year and a half, they won't remember what we said back then, so let's just do the same rolling lockdowns and everything. Blame a new variant, and like I said, there's 190 odd countries in the world, therefore they can go at variants forever and ever and ever, can't they? You know, it's mad. But sooner or later it's going to dawn on people enough to question just how effective these vaccines are. If they're so effective, why can't those people travel? They should be able to travel anywhere. But now they're saying, oh no, well they might catch something, bring it back. No, sorry, that vaccine's no good then. If you've had that, that means that you are immune to it. You shouldn't be able to carry it. If you're immune to it, it means you've destroyed it. How can you fucking carry it? It's mad. It's stupid. Oh, but this stuff, it sticks on everything, doesn't it? Metal, paper even, it's plastics, it's everything, it sticks everywhere. So what is it? Besides bullshit, what is this thing? And after all, surely to goodness, they should be allowed to move around freely to encourage others. This is how stupid these people are in charge. They should be allowed, the ones who've been vaccinated, let them move around freely to encourage others and make other people jealous. Like, I can go abroad, you can't. Show them that there's nothing to fear. Show them how beneficial it is. That once you got this vaccine, that's all you have to do, you're free. Even though I think it is the mark of the beast, my friends. I won't go into it today, but as we go deeper into this, we'll get to that point. Let's just deal with what we see now. And it seems the so-called leaders of the free world are indeed more stupid than Forrest Gump. And he's a real thick fecker, is that one. Because the message people like us are getting is that, look, hang on, it's futile. It's not worth risking, because it's not. We've seen those who've been inoculated and you're still keeping them locked up. You know, and especially, you know, with the myriad of side effects that we keep hearing about in the media. We're not making these things up, are we? We don't even want to hear them, but it's the media putting this shit out. It's all fear-mongering. But they're fear-mongering the wrong way, because they're bloody stupid. They are stupid. You don't say, oh, have these vaccines, and then start locking them people up again. You say, no, you're free. You're free. You've got your little thing now. On you go. Get back to normal. On with your life. The rest of you, sorry, we can't risk it just yet. But they've not. So what is the point? What is the point? It doesn't take a genius to figure that out. It's common sense. And another thing as well. It's a trial. I'm surprised people don't pick up on that. It's there in the media. It's a trial. That's what they keep calling it, the vaccine trial and this trial and that trial. Well, sorry, Boris et al. I'm not willing to be anybody's guinea pig or lab rat. And they reckon more than half of Britain has taken the jab. But the day I believe anything spewing from their mouths, or indeed in the propaganda machine that's poisoning the media, then, my friends, that's the day I'll begin to seriously question my own sanity. And another thing that doesn't make sense, if the numbers are correct, then we've already achieved the herd immunity they told us about last year. We've beaten the mystery virus. If there's more than half, you know, then it's not, I think they said Lawi gets to 2/3 or something, less than 2/3. It's basically after that, it's herd immunity. You're beating it. And they're backtracking on that now. And that's what they themselves said when this programme started. So now why are they pushing the rest of us so urgently? What's the big deal? And fit people as well. fit people who have nothing wrong with them, and kids and the younger ones. That's what they're going to do. Every man, woman and child, that's the agenda. People didn't believe it back then. Now they're saying it on TV. Right? But he's pushing urgently, so urgently in fact, it's beginning to make more people suspicious about the whole shebang, and that might be a good thing. As I keep hinting, guys, for now, keep your ears and eyes wide open during the coming months, especially as forewarned last year about the month of June and July, which is now and next month. And then it's foot on the pedal up till August, September. There's going to be another surge of unrest by then. And that's when the two worlds of people will collide. And whether people collide with each other or collide with the governments, we shall wait and see. You know, you don't want to give all the spoilers away, do you? And the sooner the better this happens. Well, as far as I'm concerned, they can bring it on as fast as they want, because the truth shall set everybody free, and the truth is coming. Okay, my friends, there you go. I've just rammed about, 2 podcasts into one, and so I better fermer la bouche for now, and I will see you on the wind. But have a good think about it, and people who are in denial, just have a little chat and just form your own little script out of what I've said. But, you cannot beat facts and truth and just keep banging them with that until they wake up. But they are realising that after all that, they've not got the freedom. And, if they keep their mouths shut and everybody keeps quiet, then we're going to be extended from June the 21st. This will be over in Europe, this will be in America, it'll be in every country, because we said they're all singing off their script, aren't they? They're all speaking exactly the same words, all these leaders. And all this stuff, if you go to the World Economic Forum, you'll find out where it's all coming from, because they're repeating word for word what that Schwab said. People have to wake up, and they will do, don't worry. They will do as the truth comes out. You can't go wishful thinking forever. There's a time when reality comes up and slaps you right in the face, and by God, when it does, you will take notice of it. Okay, my friends, but like I said, at the same time, don't flog a dead horse. You know who your friends and relatives are that are a waste of time. They're going to have to find out the hard way. And so what you're going to do is just step back a little bit and watch it all happen. Okay? And don't worry about it. It's a load of bunkum, right? So anyway, my friends, meanwhile, I shall see you on the wind.